Just imagine losing a child over a simple errand, but for Dirang's family, that everyday routine turned into a lifelong tragedy. So today, I will be presenting about the case overview of Dirang, a 4-year-old girl whose murder has been deeply impacted the Malaysian society. A brief information about the victim. Her full name is Nurul Nadira Abdullah and she was born in June 2007. She lived in Masai, Johor with her family. The nightmare started when she left her home at Flat Seri Delima to buy instant noodle and some eggs at nearby shop on 1st March 2012. She was last seen carrying a pink plastic bag, but sadly she never returned home. Later, on 8 March 2012, a child's body was found in a hole in an abandoned house at Taman Nusa Damai. The police also found the instant noodle and cracked eggs around the crime scene. Other than that, they also found the candies which known to be given by the suspect to attract her. The body found was severely burned beyond recognition, only leaving the skeletal remains and some preserved tissue. Then, DNA analysis was conducted to the body and it was confirmed that the body is belonged to Dirang. Later, a 24-year-old contract laborer named Widin Naidin was arrested and charged with the murder of Dirang. What made this case unique and stand out was there were no eyewitnesses and the body was severely decomposed. Only forensic science can prove what happened. This case demonstrates on how science can speak on the behalf of the victim when no one else can. Now, I pass the presentation to Atira to explain more about the forensic evidence and the anthropological analysis. That's all from me, Julia. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Atira and I will focus on the forensic evidence and anthropological analysis. In this case, the victim, Dirang, was found in a severely decomposed and partially burned state inside an abandoned house. DNA analysis was performed on swabs taken from the victim's vaginal and anal areas. The analysis confirmed that the accused DNA profile was present and no other DNA profile was detected, providing solid, direct evidence linking him to the crime. A forensic odontologist helped confirm the identity of the remains by estimating the age to be around 4.67 years, which matched the victim's age. A forensic pathologist carried out the post-mortem and found signs of facial bruising and neck injuries, consistent with smothering and strangulation. These injuries also confirmed that she had died before being burned. From a forensic anthropology perspective, the burned and decomposed state of the body made analysis challenging. However, trauma assessment on the bones, including signs of compression and blunt force, play a role in establishing the violent nature of the death. Soil analysis was another key element. Soil from the accused's motorcycle matched the soil at the crime scene, linking him to the disposal location. Additionally, a burnt piece of kain pelikat found on the victim matched the one known to be owned by the accused. In conclusion, forensic and anthropological techniques ranging from DNA profiling to postmortem, trauma analysis and soil comparison collectively built a compelling case, ultimately securing a conviction for the brutal murder of a young child. Next, I will pass to the next member.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nufahana Izati binti Bakti and I will explain the behavioral aspect and motive. The first motive was sexual assault proven by a forensic expert, which was the presence of accused DNA on both of the vaginal and anal swabs. The second reason was to destroy crime. The autopsy confirmed there were manual strangulation on the neck of the victim and the absence of smoke in the lungs indicated she was burned after death. SP14, the accused housemate, testified that Muhyiddin was seen hastily returning from palm oil plantation on the same day as Dirang went missing. He also identified the burnt kain pelikat found on Dirang's neck similar to the one worn by the accused, who only owned one kain pelikat. A chemist said the soil on Muhyiddin's motorcycle matched the soil at the location where the body was discovered. Although the court acknowledged there was no evidence Dirang was lured with candy, the burnt candy wrappers found at the scene suggested she was approached with such method. Forensic anthropologists analyzed not only the trauma but also the treatment of the body after the death. For example, in this case, the burnt corpse was found in a hole to remove the evidence where the victim was strangled and smothered beforehand. It gives clues about how the victim died and what the suspect did afterward. These actions reflect a conscious attempt to erase evidence that consistent with the profile of guilty offender in panic mode. This integration of behavioral pattern with forensic findings help to reconstruct motive and intent to strengthen the prosecution case. Next, I will pass to Dania, who will explain the legal proceeding and ethical consideration. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dania. Let's look at the legal outcomes and ethical issues regarding Dirang's case. So, in 2012, 4-year-old Nur Nadira Abdullah, or known as Dirang, went missing after going to buy instant noodles and eggs. Days later, her burnt remains were found in an abandoned house. Police arrested Muhyiddin Maidin, which is a 24-year-old contract worker, where DNA evidence linked him to the crime, and he was charged with murder under Section 302 of the Penal Code and sentenced to death in 2013. So his appeals were rejected by the Court of Appeal and the Federal Court. So in 2024, his final application for a sentence review was also denied. He remains on death row. So the accused was charged under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. So the prosecution had no eyewitnesses, but the scientific and circumstantial evidence was strong, where this included number 1, DNA found on both vaginal and anal swabs. Number 2, soil match between the suspect's motorcycle and the crime scenes, and the third one is the burnt kain pelikat resembling the one worn by the accused. So the High Court has ruled there was a prima facie case and the accused was found guilty. His alibi defense failed as his witnesses contradicted themselves and mistakenly referred to 29 February, which is a day before the actual incident. So his conviction on death row were upheld by both of the Court of Appeal and Federal Court, and his final application for review was denied in 2024. So from an ethical standpoint, this case involved a child victim which required the utmost respect. So forensic experts maintain dignity, sensitivity, and objectivity, avoiding sensationalism while presenting truth with scientific precision.
In the tragic case of Nurul Nadira, known as Dirang, justice was achieved through the power of forensic science. Although no one saw the crime occur, experts in DNA analysis, forensic pathology, anthropology, and behavioral profiling work together to uncover the truth. This interdisciplinary approach built a clear and logical chain of evidence that identified the victim, determined the cause of death, and tied the accused directly to the crime scene. The case also highlights the importance of ethical conduct in forensic work, especially when handling the remains of a child. Through professionalism and precision, the forensic team not only solved the crime but spoke for a young girl who could no longer speak for herself. This case reminds us that when the traditional evidence fails, science and integrity can still deliver the justice. Thank you.